Now on Coin 6 News at 11, more than a week has passed since a local child slipped into a coma after a sledding accident. The family praying for a Christmas miracle. Plus, a man dozes off in a movie theater and wakes up locked inside.
It really hit me once I came outside into the lobby and saw nobody there. I called for anybody and nobody was there, and I was like, oh man.
He tells Coin 6 News how he got out. But first, officers spreading holiday cheer this Christmas Eve night. Coin 6 News starts right now.
Live from the Coin Center in downtown Portland, this is Coin 6 News. Watching out for you.
And welcome to Coin 6 News at 11. I'm Andrew Dymburt in for Chris Holmstrom tonight. This Christmas Eve, Beaverton police took to the streets not just to enforce the law, but to reinforce the meaning of Christmas. The police department adopted 48 families in need and committed to giving them a brighter Christmas. Coin 6's Jennifer Dowling rode along with officers who took toys and other presents to families this afternoon. Good evening, Jen.
Good evening, Andrew. It was a lot of fun. The officers collected presents for around 108 kids as part of this year's Blue Christmas at the Beaverton Police Department. The gifts were purchased by donations made by city employees, volunteers, and the community as a whole. They were also wrapped by volunteer helpers. Both off-duty and on-duty officers gave their time to hand those gifts out. And even though delivering them can take time away from their personal time, the officers don't mind the role of officer elves.
We're just hoping that we'll be able to bring a little bit of happiness to them, and it's also something that's it brings happiness for us to be able to help. And also, I think seeing a police officer come to the door bringing you some Christmas presents is probably a pretty cool thing.
The children who the officers are assisting are from the Union Gospel Shelter, Beaverton PAL, the Salvation Army Veterans and Family Care Center, and the Beaverton School District Homeless Youth Program. Now, this is the second year for the special deliveries, and they've actually doubled the number of families they're helping this year. They plan to do it again next year. Back to you, Andrew.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. Well, it only happens in the movies. Well, how about the movie theaters? A man wakes up in an empty theater in the middle of the night out in Cornelius. Justin Haworth went out last night to see Star Wars Rogue One. Now, sometime during the movie, he fell asleep. But when he woke up hours later, he was all alone. That's when he tried getting out, tripping a motion sensor alarm.
I wake up, theater's completely dark. I can't see nothing. I can see the screen and like maybe my hand in front of my face if I waved it. I called up I just called 911 at that point because no other option, and I ended up getting a hold of them and I told them it's not an emergency. I'm stuck in the movie theater here in Cornelius.
Now, Justin didn't get in trouble. Officers say it wasn't crime-related and that theater staff just forgot to check the entire theater. You know what? It was probably colder in that theater than it was outside. Joseph Dames is joining us now with a first look at weather. Joseph.
Yeah, you know what? As we head into the overnight, I'm watching a chance for some fog developing. You actually see it right behind me as low-level clouds are just kind of sweeping over the top of Portland right now. And that's going to be what we have to battle with as we head into the overnight. So that's what I'm watching. You'll have to watch it, too, if you're going to be out late tonight or into tomorrow morning. Temperatures at 36 degrees, northwest breeze right around 5 miles per hour. So current visibility is low. Again, the fog will be an issue tonight and into tomorrow morning. I am tracking another winter weather storm. I'll be telling you about that coming up in just a couple minutes in my full forecast. Andrew?
All right, thank you, Joseph. And we've learned that a 90-year-old driver has died tonight after rear-ending a TriMet bus this afternoon. It happened on Northeast Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard at Alberta. The driver and passengers on the bus are all okay. Meanwhile, the major crash team is investigating this accident. The family of a 6-year-old Happy Valley boy in the hospital is hoping for a Christmas miracle tonight. Johnny Tatarinov is still in a coma after a devastating sledding accident down a neighborhood hill. Today, on Christmas Eve, his family speaks to our Eileen Park about the tragedy.
At home, presents line the piano in the Tatarinov living room. These gifts given from the neighborhood to cheer up this family of 15 as mom and dad continue to spend most of their days at the hospital.
He hit his right side right here.
Sergei Tatarinov's daughter is translating for him. The father speaks mainly Russian.
The doctor is saying that he will stay there for a couple months, but my parents are hoping to get out of this sooner.
The family says on Thursday last week, the 6-year-old kindergartner from Spring Mountain Elementary was sledding with his sister Aliana down this hill a couple blocks away after 6 at night when the sled hit this speed limit pole. Johnny was in the front.
Медленное надо восстановление. And it's going to be slow recovery.
The community in Happy Valley rallied to offer financial and moral support to the family. They're concerned insurance will not cover their son's full medical expenses. The future of Johnny's health is uncertain.
So the doctors can't really give us a real answer because he hasn't fully awakened.
All they can do now is pray. In Happy Valley, Eileen Park, KOIN 6 News.
A crime alert now. Check out this surveillance picture. Police tell us that the culprit caught on camera here used a stolen credit card around town, including the food cart at Providence Hospital. We're told that the credit card was stolen along with some family jewelry during a burglary earlier this month. And police departments across the country are on high alert this weekend after ISIS calls for attacks against churches in the U.S. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from New York City at one of the country's most high-profile churches.
Following the latest terror attack in Berlin, the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security sent a bulletin to law enforcement agencies nationwide to warn of vigilance against lone wolf attacks.
One of the most significant threats facing this country today comes from people who are inspired by terrorist ideologies but operate independent of a terrorist organization.
CBS News has learned the bulletin was issued Friday after ISIS called for attacks against churches in the U.S. during the holidays. An ISIS social media group published a link listing the names and addresses of thousands of churches. The link also urged followers to attack other public places. At St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City, metal barricades are set up and police officers direct the large crowds. The city's police department says that's normal procedure this time of the year.
The NYPD says there are no specific threats against any targets such as St. Patrick's and that the department is operating with its usual high vigilance.
The McDonald's from Easton, Pennsylvania got tickets in August to attend midnight mass at the cathedral. They'll be met by employees checking bags and metal detectors.
There isn't a safer place to be, really, in my view, so I'm not concerned at all.
Pittsburgh resident Michelle Suaro is also not worried about the threat as she snaps pictures and tours Midtown with her family.
Not that there's not that possibility, I just choose not to concern myself with it.
The bulletin to law enforcement says historically, ISIS lists like the one naming churches have never resulted in a successful terror attack. Wendy Gillette for CBS News, New York.
And still ahead on KOIN 6 News at 11, some lucky service members make it home for the holidays. We'll take a look at some of this season's best surprises. Plus, the plane carrying the Minnesota Vikings slides off the runway while players live stream the whole thing. And later, Pope Francis has a message for the world this Christmas Eve. All that and more coming up. Well, the holidays can be especially rough on families who have loved ones serving overseas. But every year, a few lucky soldiers get to surprise their families with an unexpected homecoming. Jim Axelrod reports.
Lieutenant Bill Farrell, wishing Notre Dame a very Merry Christmas. Congrats on the win. Go on.
When Army Lieutenant Beau Farrell wished Notre Dame's basketball team well Monday, a good night became great for his brother Matt, the starting point guard. Grateful to see Beau safe from where Matt thought was Afghanistan.
I love you and I miss you very much. For us,
but when it turned out Beau was actually in South Bend, great became a moment these brothers will remember forever. Same thing at Widewater Elementary School in Virginia last week. Jackson Rescott had an Xbox at the top of his wish list.
I think I have a bit of Christmas magic for you.
But Santa had a better idea. Marine Staff Sergeant David Rescott, deployed overseas the last 8.5 months, left his son's jaw hanging open until he reached for a hug. For the last couple of weeks, 'tis been the season for a battalion of military moms and dads, sons and daughters, to pull off the kind of surprise attack.
Is that why you haven't called me back?
No one minds being the target of. Just this week, a couple of daughters recording the mannequin challenge at their school in Oklahoma had a surprise waiting at the end of the line, seeing their dad for the first time in a year. Specialist Christine Rainey surprised her 10-year-old Kayla in South Carolina. And Air Force Master Sergeant John Lang shocked his 20-year-old daughter, a hockey nut whose first Chicago Blackhawks game ever
Hi, Kim Madison. That's Dad.
was bittersweet since her dad wasn't there to share it. Until he was. Another holiday antidote to all that news that's left us asking, what's wrong with the world, by showing us what's right. Jim Axelrod, CBS News, New York.
Okay, Joseph Dames is joining us now with a look at some holiday weather. No white Christmas this year in the Valley.
Not
Any
for us
snow
in the Valley.
anywhere else, or maybe in the Valley later in the week?
Yeah, you're going to have to go up to the mountains if you really want to enjoy the snow, and they're going to get even more as we go into our Monday. For now, we're just dealing with the fog here, and it's pretty thick out there and dense, and it's going to be patchy as we go into the overnight and into tomorrow morning. So heading out through the overnight, if you do have to get on the roads, there are going to be some spots out there that are going to be foggy. We have those low-level clouds out there forming right now. 36 degrees. We do have a light breeze out there, which is kind of helping for that fog at this time. And as you could tell, it's scooting all the way down through the Willamette Valley, stretching all the way up towards Cowlitz County and Washington. So if you are going to be on some of those side roads where things are a little dark, be careful out there tonight and into tomorrow morning. We do have another system well off into the Pacific that will eventually reach us. For now, we have that northwest flow, onshore flow, just leaving us with a little bit of precipitation. Not a lot of heavy rain or snowfall coming up, but something that still could happen as we head into the overnight. Closer look at our radar. As you could tell, really not much at home from Portland stretching down. Again, what we'll be dealing with is the fog as we head into the overnight. A little bit of precipitation still along the coast. Again, this could be on and off overnight into tomorrow morning, but again, it's not going to be very heavy, and it's just going to be very scattered and isolated through the overnight. Temperatures tonight cooling down to about the lower 30s to the upper 20s, a little bit warmer for you folks on the coast, colder if you're on the east. We go through the overnight and into, again, your start to your Christmas Day and onto your Sunday. And I still think we'll have some low-level clouds kind of socked in over the valley, maybe setting up a little bit of an inversion. So hopefully we could chip away at that by the time we get to the afternoon. Here's closer towards midday, eventually kind of dissipating by the time we get to the afternoon, evening. Still stay rather dry for our Monday morning. So after a really nice Sunday and a finish to our weekend, we'll start off Monday pretty good too, but here's the afternoon and towards the evening hours. Watch the rain starts along the coast, eventually pressing into the valley. This is the time where we're likely to see some heavy rain for you folks along the coast. Towards the Cascades, though, some decent snowfall there. We're going to have to watch this system. It's going to be Monday night into Tuesday morning, where we might have to deal with some snowfall. Areas like the Gorge, traveling could be a little tricky on I-84 once we get into our Tuesday morning. So rain chances forecast over the next couple of days. Again, our Sunday's looking really nice. We should stay dry for our Sunday. So if you're going to be out with friends, family, kind of enjoying the holiday, go out there and do it. It's going to be dry. But Monday, start of Monday's good, as we just saw, but it's going to be overnight Monday into Tuesday where things are going to get wet and maybe a little snowy. Wednesday, some lingering moisture, and Thursday and Friday looks like we could wrap up a little bit dry. So it looks like really only a couple days this upcoming week that we'll have to really worry about. For your Sunday, here's how it breaks down. We'll have the lower 30s for the morning, kind of cloudy. By the time we get into the afternoon, again, I think we will chip away at those clouds. We'll bring in some sunshine by the time we get to the afternoon. Temperatures holding to the upper 30s to about 40 degrees. Beyond it, though, here's your 7-day forecast. Tuesday, 45 degrees. Will be right around average in the mid-40s. A little bit of rain on Wednesday, maybe a little bit of rain trying to seep into Thursday, early Thursday, but we should stay dry then. And then by the time we get to the new year, Saturday, close to Saturday, it looks like we should have some dry time. So
we had it in the 20s a couple of weeks ago. Now we're in the 40s. I know that some people still think it's cold.
There's a couple weather models out there that are saying the first week of January might get cold again too. So,
well, if you think it's cold here, you got to check this out. The weather in Wisconsin was so bad this morning that the Minnesota Vikings team plane slid off the taxiway. The plane was on its way to the gate after landing when one of the rear main landing gears left the pavement, causing the plane to come to a stop, and players live streamed their rescue.
Let's go! I'm getting on. Let's go. Here we go. Get skinny. It's like rushing the passer. Get skinny. We skinny, baby. We skinny. Get skinny. Those linebackers, man. Just so y'all can see what's going on here. Yeah. On a fire ladder. CP. Yeah, we out here, y'all.
Now, no injuries on board. The Vikes were in Green Bay to play the Packers earlier today. So let's check in with Dave Solano for more sports highlights.
Thanks a lot, Andrew. Seahawks taking on the Arizona Cardinals in their final home game of the regular season, but the Arizona defense all over Russell Wilson, and before halftime, Cam Chancellor leaves the game with an ankle injury. Thomas Rawls would suffer a shoulder injury. Hawks lose the game, and Tyler Lockett. Here's what happened. Let's go to that second quarter. Wilson going up top to Lockett, who makes an amazing one-handed catch for a 28-yard gain. Now, the catch initially ruled a touchdown, but then they're saying he's down at the half-yard line. When you watch it again, though, his right leg gets caught under the body of Brandon Williams. Lockett would lay down for a while before getting carted off the field. According to reports, it's a right ankle injury. Seahawks will tack on a field goal before halftime. Let's go to the third quarter now. Wilson to Jermaine Kearse in the corner of the end zone. Great catch, and what a moment for the pride of UW. That's his first touchdown of the season. Definitely worth another look. Fourth quarter now. Hawks keep fighting. Wilson to Doug Baldwin in the flat. 42 yards later, he's going to take it all the way to the house. Two-point conversion is good. Baldwin, 13 catches for 171 yards and 1 touchdown. Seattle not backing down. Wilson over the middle to Jimmy Graham, and Graham can't be stopped. Powers his way to the end zone. Then Wilson finding Paul Richardson in the back of the end zone. Tied at 31. Wilson throws for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns. So with the Hawks a chance to take the lead, Steven Hauschka misses. Are you kidding? Extra point no good, so then it's Chandler Catanzaro with a 43-yarder for the win, and that is it. Cardinals take it 34-31.
Mariota tackled from behind and sacked. Sheldon Day with his first.
Yeah, former Oregon Ducks quarterback Marcus Mariota carted off the field in the third quarter in Jacksonville, Florida. Titans are saying that he suffered a fractured right fibula in the 38-17 loss to the Jags. At the time of the injury, he had thrown for 99 yards and 1 touchdown. Raiders Colts going to work in Oakland, and the big story all about Raiders quarterback Derek Carr. So Carr, 3 touchdown passes in the second quarter before this happens in the fourth quarter. Carr sacked by Trent Cole, and then will get carted off the field. Raiders head coach Jack Del Rio says that Carr broke his fibula and is out indefinitely. Carr will undergo surgery tomorrow. Raiders hold on for the 33-25 win.
Play clock almost expired. Pass caught. Nelson. Jordy Nelson. Touchdown.
Yeah, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers throws for 347 yards and 4 touchdowns, and Jordy Nelson 154 yards and 2 scores. Green Bay defeats Minnesota 38-25. The Red Hot Packers now get ready for a winner-take-all showdown next week against the Lions for the division title. 49ers and Rams meeting up in Los Angeles, and quarterback Colin Kaepernick throws for 266 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and also rushes for a touchdown. Niners end the 13-game losing streak with a 22-21 win over the Rams. And make sure to join us tomorrow night for a special edition of Game On at 11:35. All those details tomorrow night during Game On. Make sure to join us. We will see you back here on the other side of the break.
The first major religious event celebrating Christmas got underway in Vatican City, where Pope Francis held midnight mass for millions around the world. Anna Montrega reports from Vatican City.
Pope Francis began Christmas Eve Mass by kissing a statue of the infant Jesus as 10,000 worshippers filled St. Peter's Basilica.
A tutti gli uomini.
In his somber homily, the Pope said Christmas had become hostage to materialism, a commercial feast, when we are concerned with gifts but cold towards those who are marginalized. Instead, he said, the birth of Jesus should remind the world of those suffering, especially children. Among them, he said, are the children hiding underground to escape bombardment, or refugee children fleeing violence and poverty at the bottom of a boat overladen with immigrants. And in a clear reference to abortion, he included the children who are not allowed to be born.
I think we all have a lot to learn from this particular Pope at this particular time too, in the state that the world is in right now. He's come at the very right time.
This nativity scene in St. Peter's Square reflects the Pope's concern for the poor and the disadvantaged. This boat, he says, represents the sad and tragic reality of migrants trying to reach Italy. Security was high, and worshippers had to pass through metal detectors to enter St. Peter's Square. Michael and Jana Davies from Minneapolis said they were not going to let fear stop them.
It's spiritual. You can't explain it in words, really. I'm speechless.
You look like you're moved. Anna Matranga, CBS News, Vatican City.
It's a special time.
All right, check this out. A Christmas tree in a Beaverton neighborhood is getting a lot of attention. A father and son duo decided on a unique way to display their Christmas tree this year. Aiden Walters and his dad Scott were inspired by National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. So when they spotted this 20-foot tree, they said they just had to have it. The huge tree has gotten a lot of attention on social media. All right, Joseph, do you have a 20-foot tree just, hanging out of your house?
Nothing like that. That's a great idea, though. Yeah, we were raving about it the last couple of days, so this is a great idea. We have Christmas coming up here in just about half an hour. How about that? 40 degrees. I hope everyone's having a wonderful night. Have a great Sunday, too. Partly sunny for your Sunday and the holidays. And then our next chance for some good rain is likely Monday night into Tuesday when we're back at it to Oregon weather.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us this Christmas Eve. There will be no Coin 6 News this morning tomorrow. Check back in with us at 5:30 tomorrow evening for more news, weather, and sports. Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to all. Good night.